To say I'm resilient is...
No, I'm resilient. I'm resilient.
Yeah. I don't know if I should chuck in there that I won Entrepreneur of the Year.
Oh, my goodness me.
Year.
Well done, you, sir.
Just thought I'd
Absolutely.
Well
done.
Absolutely. Mr. Tui, we need his facility, so come on, get behind his champion. Yeah.
You probably do. Can I say thank you? Because tech does go wrong and that keeps me in a job.
Why not? Come on, Ben. Come on,
Ben,
come on.
Tui.
Tui, get behind this. If we build this, they will come.
Good morning and welcome to episode 104. No Adam today. He's enjoying his holiday. Can't remember where he's gone to, but I hope you're having a good time, please, Adam. So we are going to take you on a massive journey, an aircraft journey, with our very special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Stuie Ellerton here from SimFly in Darlington. We're an immersive flight experience company, and we also train schools and colleges, and we work with students who are doing level 3s across the board in our sixth forms and our local and regional colleges.
Well, what a fantastic introduction. I am super excited. I've seen what you do, and it is incredible. And I love the fact that you use the word immersive, because it absolutely is, isn't it? It's unique. I've never seen anything like it.
It is. What we've tried to do, unfortunately, a lot of our clients, a lot of our users are never going to see the inside of an airport. They're never going to be that lucky to experience the thrill and the excitement of going abroad on a plane. It's just a fact of life, and it's so unfortunate. So what we've tried to do is to bring the entire aviation experience to them, from check-in, going through border force security, at the travel agents we have in our little facility, and then when we board the aircraft, the mock aircraft, we've got an 18-seater fully equipped cabin.
Wow.
And then the Boeing 737-800 flight simulator, which is the jewel in our crown, which is what everybody wants to have a go at.
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
So we brought the whole experience to the user. You don't have to travel far. You don't have to go outside of Darlington to get a full immersive aviation.
Does the full immersive experience include that one drunken guy that's really annoying?
It can do. We can role play that. We do lots of role play, you know.
Can you imagine?
It also includes people who are afraid of flying,
of course,
fears and phobias and that kind of thing. And we do the drunken passenger roleplay. We do the angry passenger, the late passenger, the tech-savvy passenger. I know better than you. I know more than you because I'm tech-savvy and your system is wrong. That kind of... So, and it's how do our learners deal with those scenarios behind the check-in desk or behind the border force security, and we have lots of role play scenarios, and we put the learners on the spot. How are you going to deal with that? Because we know that the challenges of today dictates that a lot of our young learners are not necessarily tremendous communicators anymore. So we try to bring those confidence and communication skills out with them.
I think that'd be really good, because obviously you're right in saying that. If you had an angry passenger, bless these young people, I'll just text you what I'm feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Or I'm going to hit you. That's my first instinct kind of thing. Exactly. So it's how do we deal with those scenarios? How we deal, and the idea is to try and keep the mood calm.
100%. I mean, we've seen this so many times in every industry. Obviously, people of your and my, shall I politely say, age.
Yes.
Age. But the thing is, the story that I always refer and regurgitate to some of my people that I may be training and stuff like that is, had a guy, and quite rightly, he was annoyed with me because we had done something wrong. Mm-hmm. So I'm the first to open my mouth, going, really sorry, Stu, we've done this wrong. But he started effing and blinding at me. And all I did was, I'm like, look, I'm really sorry. I understand that you're frustrated, but talking to me like that will not help.
It's not going to solve the situation.
And
that's
he
right.
continued,
really?
And I gave him the third warning, and I'm like, I'm really sorry. I understand your situation. You are the customer, but yet again, if you start to talk to me like that, I will put the phone down on you. Yeah. He calmed down a little bit. Then he started effing and blinding, and I literally just went, hang up. Michelle was like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't care. I know I'm in the wrong, but I'm a human person. I do not need to be spoken to.
Absolutely.
Sure enough, the phone rang again. I picked it up and I went, right, can I just tell you off the bat, I am a human person and so are you. I am treating you with the utmost respect. I know that I've cocked up, but unless you start treating me with a tiny bit of respect and all of that, bless him, he went, Andy, I am really sorry. I got off on one. I locked the red mist. He went, you're absolutely right. He said, now, let's talk calmly of how we resolve this situation. But I think it's important that I was going, I'm not going to be spoken to like that. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
You know, you could be the Prime Minister for all I care. I'm like,
right.
don't treat me like that.
Now, if you can imagine that in an aviation scenario where you're surrounded by security as well.
Absolutely.
And in some airports surrounded by security carrying weapons.
In
that
some
kind
airports.
of thing. Some airports. You're not going on that plane if you have that kind of attitude.
No, you're not.
At all.
You're not at all.
So the best approach is to be cool, calm, collected, and let's move forward.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing, yeah.
Let's move forward. Let's go back.
Okay.
Where did all of this start to? What on earth gave you this idea? You know, where were you before all of this? What was your background? And then what was the epiphany moment? You're going, I want to create this unique experience.
It's a bit of a strange story, that one. My commercial flying background started when I was in my 20s. I've always been interested in flying. I've always been interested in planes. Ever since the age of 5 or 6-year-old, I used to look up in the school playground and see planes. And I would ask myself... That's going to be me one day, yes. But I used to ask the question, how? How does something that heavy, which is metal, containing people and luggage, get from point A to point B? Yeah. It's defying the laws of physics, essentially. But the more you kind of delve into why engines work and how wings work, the more interesting it gets. So I'll kind of fast forward a little bit to when I was 21. My mum and dad bought me my first ever trial flight. And that was it. I was hooked. Absolutely hooked. So from the bank of mum and dad, and from the bank of Barclaycard and the bank of bank loans, I kind of finished off my private pilot's licence. Had someone told me at that point my flying sort of experiences, my flying career was going to cost me in the region of £120,000, I would have backed off.
Excuse me, how much?
About at least £120,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's you bite chunks off it. Right. So what you did was I got my first licence, I got my private pilot's licence. Then I went on to do a thing called a night licence. So it's bolt-ons. So you look at the night licence and you think, right, well, it's only £3,500. I can afford that. So you do your night licence and you save up a bit more. And then you do your twin engine rating, which is £5,500. Okay, I'll manage to find that from somewhere. So you start biting little chunks off. So I did my night licence, my twin engine rating, a thing called an IMC rating, which is learning to fly the aircraft just looking on your instruments. So you can't see anything out of the cockpit. You're just flying from point A to point B and imagining that you're in cloud or low visibility, that kind of thing. That was quite expensive. Then before long, I found myself sat in a classroom in Bournemouth at Commercial Flight School.
Right.
And essentially the rest is history. Where I went from there, it's kind of, you have all of these qualifications and what we call these ratings, and you put them to good use with flying larger aircraft, essentially flying passengers. Then 9/11 happened. And the world of aviation changed for good, essentially. So no one had faith in aviation, no one had faith in flying, no one wanted to board an aircraft. In fact, at the Darlington Hippodrome at the moment, there's a play on which I went to see just 2 nights ago called Come From Away, which is all about that very story.
Wow.
And how it did affect the world and how it did change the world. Now, I also have a background in music. I'm a musician. I'm a drummer and a singer, and I've played in bands all of my life. So fortunately, I had something to fall back on, the music industry. And I opened up, a few years after that, I opened up a music school called the NSCM, the Northern School of Contemporary Music.
Oh, you should have called it Come Fly With Me.
Come Fly With Me, absolutely. So the NSM did quite well. I ended up with 15 teachers, and we ended up with over 1,200 students in lots of different schools in this area, further afield. And then fast forward again, COVID struck. So that kind of, I've been... To say I'm resilient is...
I'm resilient. I'm
resilient, yeah. My middle name is Resilient.
Yeah.
So to say that I'm resilient and I get up off my backside once I've been knocked down again...
Goodness me.
That's that kind of almost put pay to the music school because we couldn't go to schools, we couldn't teach face-to-face. We tried the online thing and it worked well for some, but not for others kind of thing. After that, coming to the end of COVID, when the world opened back up again... it's a long story, but I won't bore you with the details. I had the opportunity, let's just say, to purchase a flight simulator, this Boeing 737. My son, our Joe, was going into aviation. He's currently doing his degree at Newcastle Aviation Academy.
Like father, like son?
Absolutely, chip off the old block.
Good lad.
So I had the opportunity, let's say, to buy this 737 simulator, but to bring it up to Darlington and offer it to people as an experience in some way, shape or form.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it with the immersive kind of setting. And I had the use of 2 rooms where my music school was.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, let's re-kit out these rooms to look like an aeroplane, put the simulator in one of them, and have an airport lounge in another one. And it was always with the intention of it just being for Uncle John, Grandpa Joe, that kind of thing, to come through and have a bit of a flight. But then we started getting calls from schools and colleges, and I had to rethink my business strategy, my business plan, to think, how am I going to accommodate, instead of one person coming to go left and right and up and down and faster and slower, how am I going to accommodate for 15 kids to do that in the facility that we are? And we've just had to kind of be malleable. We've had to remold and reshape our business model to accommodate for educational purposes. So where we are at the moment, we're at a point now where we're thinking of further expansion into a facility that allows us to have a huge aircraft fuselage, which is going to be supplied by plane reclaimers from down south.
Lovely.
And then we can get the slides in there, the rafts, we can have a little cafe bar in the corner. So we're looking at that expansion plan as we speak. And we need people. I can't do this alone. We know that we've got such a unique facility. We need investors, we need investment.
Yeah.
We need money, we need sponsors, we need people to get behind this and say, do you know what, if we open this... I use the analogy of that film which was starring Kevin Costner, where he was, I don't know if you've seen The Field of Dreams.
Yes.
Where he woke up one morning and flattened his field, and he kept hearing that voice in his head, if you build this...
They will come.
They will come.
Yeah.
And that's where we are at the moment. I'm about to kind of create a bigger facility, and if we do find one day the finance and the funding and the money for this,
it's going to.
It will explode.
Well, I was going to say, excuse the pun, it will take off.
It will take off.
Because that is just an incredible vision. But I think it's really, really refreshing, because we are living in uncertain times. Absolutely. We are living in, where I almost now don't look at the news anymore, Stu, because I'm just like, oh, God.
It's the same thing day in and day out. Politicians arguing, corruption. Yeah, absolutely.
It's terrible. Whereas nowadays, to find somebody with your vision, with your goals, with your aspiration, it honestly, my friend, it's really, really, really nice.
Thank you.
And
that
I
means
think
a lot.
if you don't have those goals, people will just go, fine. I always get people telling me, and you must get the same, I can never run my own business. Why?
Do you know what? It's the thing with SimFly is its trump card, I suppose, apart from the simulator itself, which is amazing. Its trump card is its uniqueness.
Yeah.
This is not another barbershop that we've opened up. We're being saturated with barbershops in Darlington.
We are at the moment.
And nail salons.
Don't know why.
Love them. God love them. People use them, and they're obviously doing great turnover.
Yeah.
But people need the haircut and they need to have the nails painted.
Yeah.
I've just taken mine off. What we need is to get the SimFly word out to schools and colleges and the wider audience through some kind, I'm not there yet, through some kind of marketing campaign to reach people that we're not already reaching. Yeah. To say that this has so many offshoots. It's not just about learning how to fly an aircraft or how to be cabin crew in an 18-seater cabin. It's the wider picture. It's about being a better communicator. It's about being a more confident person. It's about bringing the corporate industry in to train on a corporate level, but looking how aviators do it. The clinically clean teamwork, synergistic values between flight crew and cabin crew and ground staff, and taking those values to the corporate office, taking it back to the workplace and say, hang on a minute, let's look at our framework, let's look at how we communicate in the office, and let's try and compare it with the aviation sector. Let's see if we can bring a checklist on board. Yeah. Let's see if we can work together closer. When I look at the aviation industry, when everybody looks at the aviation industry, they see pilots in the uniform and they see that level of expertise and people in charge of a big aircraft with lots of TV screens and engines and noise and all that kind of thing. Before you board the aircraft, there are 180 different businesses that have got you on board that aircraft. 180 different skill sets. Yeah. From the check-in, from the dispatchers, from the refuelers, from the mechanics. It goes on. I could sit here all day and ream out 180 different occupations that allow the passenger to travel from point A to point B that don't get a look in. So the aviation industry is a wider field of expertise and incredibly talented, experienced and knowledgeable people that get the traveller from point A to point B, and those people do not get a look in sometimes.
They don't. I couldn't agree again, most of you, because what's interesting is that when running your own business, as you do, I feel as though I do sometimes take a step back and I do look at the whole process and go, do you know what? That's actually, I've had a lovely experience. And I'll give you a classic example. About 3 or 4 years ago, my wife and I, we flew over to see my son over in Austria. Lovely. Flew over there. On the way back, there was a few delays and we missed our adjoining flight. So we were just like, okay, it is what it is. Fine. They put us up in a very nice hotel. And the bit that I'm getting at is that when we were told that we'd missed our flight, please go to do the checkout over there to determine what the next actions are. We were 6th or 7th in the queue, and I remember the third person in front of us was a businessman, and he let loose. He was extremely angry, and no matter what he did and no matter what he said, they were obviously just going, I'm really sorry, sir. We are in this situation. There's nothing that I can do. There are no flights but I will miss my meeting important tomorrow. Yeah. I'm really sorry. He went in a very, very angry manner. We then stepped forward and we just went, listen, we understand. What's the next steps? And she went, I'm really sorry. And I went, please don't apologise. I've just seen what you've had to deal with. Yeah. You are doing your job and you're doing it very well. Yeah. Please, how can I help? Because this is not your fault. And the smile that she gave me, she went, oh, thank you so much.
If only every passenger was like you.
I know, but it's different though, Stuie. But what she did is that, and then the nice thing that she did, they gave us, everybody got a little meal voucher. Yeah. And the little meal voucher was obviously to spend in the hotel. Yeah. And then she went, right, so it's a meal voucher for both of you. It's one per person. And then I looked down, there was 2. And she just went, just one for you and your wife. And I went, okay, thank you very much. Yeah. And honestly, just that little bit of, I know it's not your fault, and yet what you've just said there previously, I know that when I get on that plane, there is so much to do, but I feel as though in this world, and again, please forgive me, I may be going off on one, I think people just have lost their patience and kindness.
They have.
I really do, because I am just absolutely like, thank you very much.
But isn't that a reflection of the world that we're living in? Do you not think stress, more hours, more workload? There's a friend of mine who works for a particular sector, and she is just so laden with work at the moment. She's at that breaking point. Yeah. And it was her husband that was telling me the other day that she gets calls at like 2 a.m. from the boss saying, I need you to be in, let's say, Austria for 7 o'clock. We've emailed you your ticket. Get out of bed, off you go. And it's, a salary is quite attractive. Yeah. But that stress of leaving the family, going to work for a company that's just got a leash around her neck saying, do this, do that. Yeah. And then the first person that she's bound to take it out on, the first point of call is the person behind the desk at check-in that has to apologise to everybody rather, to say, I'm sorry, the flight's delayed. Bang! Off goes her stresses and frustrations. Absolutely. You were making me, well, hang on a minute, it's not the aircraft went tech 2 hours ago. Yeah. There's something wrong with it. It's not my fault. I'm just here to let you know.
Absolutely.
But so we're living in a world where there is a lot of stress, and particularly in the aviation, where people are trying to make deadlines. They're looking at the watch, think, I've got to be in New York in 4 hours. You have to get me there. Yeah. Hang on a minute, I just check you in. Absolutely. I'm just a link in the chain
of these 180
people. Yeah. What you need to do is actually ring the engineers and say, when is that wheel going to be fixed? When is that fan blade, or when is the engine going to be repaired?
Yeah,
it's not, that's the world. That's a typical example of the world that we're living in.
I think it is. But one of the things again that you probably do yourself, and I can genuinely, we've met very briefly before, but I'm definitely getting this wave of experience from you. That the key though is, Stuie, is that you've got to try and understand, and there's got to be some understanding with. As off air, I was telling about that. I did do a big cock up for this particular customer. But if you come to a customer, and I would like to say 90% of the time, and one of the things that, I was telling you just before we're coming up, we were celebrating Resilience 20 years in business. 20 years. Brilliant. But I was there, and one of the customers last night was genuinely saying to me, he went, difference with you, I believe, Andy, from anybody else or other IT company that I know, is that if we do have a problem, you will come to me with a problem, that you may have caused, but what you'll do is you'll go, okay, Stuie, this is what went wrong, okay? This is what I'm going to do to try and fix it, okay? Here are your options of what we're going to do to try and fix it, but more importantly, Stuie, here's what I'm going to do to ensure that doesn't happen again. Yeah. He went, I can't ask for anything more from you, Andy. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Yeah. But what you do is you learn from those mistakes and you put in procedures to make sure it doesn't happen again. Yeah. And he went, I couldn't ask for any more.
Absolutely.
No, so simple as that. He may get annoyed at me because I've made a massive cock up. Yeah. But he's then gone, okay, fine, I understand. Right? What are we going to do to fix this, and how will it not happen again? And I think that's everybody. That should be absolutely throughout everything.
It should be. It should be a generic way of looking at troubleshooting and problem solving and dealing with the customers. And this is one of the things at SimFly that we try to do with the new generation of young learners that come through us is that let's look at this scenario. What is your first instinct to do? And we've had it so many times where they'll say, well, I would tell them to get lost. Let's just take a step back from that. Would that solve things? Because all you're going to do is add fuel to the fire. He's going to reach across and grab you by the scruff of the neck and have words with you.
Yep.
So your job as a customer service representative for the airline that is wearing the uniform, that has the branding on the jacket, they want to see kind of communication skills. They want to see you open up dialogue with this person, and they want to see you present them with solutions at the end of the day. Well, okay, I'll make a call, sir. I'll see if we can handle this a little bit better. Leave it with us. I'll just see to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then I'll get back to you with a solution moving forward.
Yeah.
And sadly, and I don't mean to tar everybody with the same brush, but some of our young learners that come through do have that kind of first point of call of, I would have grabbed him by the neck and told him to get lost. No. And that's one of the things that we can do at SimFly. And that is loosely related to aviation. It doesn't mean it's necessarily say that they're going to be flying the 737 simulator. It just means that they've learned a little bit more about themselves on that day, and they've learned a little bit more of how to handle a situation moving forward. And it mightn't be in an airport. It might be in Morrison's.
Yeah.
It might be in the Corp. It might be in Next whilst they're choosing a shirt because they haven't got the sizing that they looked for. How do I remain calm? How do I get to a solution? How does the customer benefit from his or her experience with me? And how do we move forward in a polite and productive manner? And one of the things that we do on our corporate training days is we try to highlight different personalities. I don't know if you've heard of insights training. The colour training. We use that very kind of...
Red.
Red, absolutely. And when people come through the door, Gemma and I look at each other and go, red. Definitely red.
Absolutely.
Yellow. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, is it yellow?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So we use those colour personalities and we try to compare and contrast those colour personalities to match up the people that are going to synergise and work better. And a lot of corporate industry don't know anything about the insights training or the colour personality kind of thing. So when they are hiring another red person on the board of directors, which is going to say, no, I don't want this. I want this decision. No, I don't want that. Well, the reason is because you've hired not necessarily the wrong experience level of person, but the wrong personality of person. And we look at those coloured people, those coloured personalities, and try to match them up, looking at life and looking at their corporate environment through the lens of aviation. Not necessarily going to teach you how to fly 737, just the overview. This is how the aviation works. The aviation industry works in depth. It matches personalities and matches people. It's a very, very well-oiled machine. Is the aviation industry from going from one of our local travel agents to walking in at the airport, and you see the people with the smiley people with the check-in. They'll send you through security, which are a little bit more kind of we've got to get this right first time. A lot of what is going on in the world at the moment. Through duty-free, on board the aircraft with the cabin crew, the engineers, the dispatchers, the air traffic controllers, of course, the pilots. I do not look at the aviation industry as being an upward chain of people. Right to the pilots that are there flying the people from point A to point B. The pilots couldn't do their job if they didn't have cabin crew. The cabin crew couldn't do their job if they didn't have trainers. The trainers couldn't do their job if they didn't have education. And it goes back.
It goes down and down, doesn't it?
So I look at it as a sideways movement. The pilot is unable to fly that plane if the engineers haven't got it right on that particular day.
Correct.
If that plane hasn't been serviced to such a high standard of level that it's not going to fly that day, then the pilots and the cabin crew and the dispatchers and the check-in and they cannot do their job. So it's a sideways chain of highly experienced and talented individuals from as young as 18, 19-year-old to the baggage handlers, to the people who drive the tugs, to the people who wave the table tennis bats to get the planes to park. These are all very highly trained individuals. So the pilots are just the shop window. That's all they are, the cabin crew with the shop window. They're the people that get the abuse on a day-to-day basis.
Unfortunately, that's
true. There's another 180 kind of different careers underneath that that have helped you get from here to Austria to go and see your son.
Absolutely. But I think that, again, it seems to be, not, again, as you say, not missing from people, but I genuinely believe that people should look at all of this, because the smallest cog of the person cannot be misunderstood, because without him, as you quite rightly said, this thing doesn't work.
Yeah.
And also, if you treat all of these people with the utmost respect, you get further along in life. I genuinely believe.
That chain drives the cogs.
Honestly, it does. And I often say this. Businesses need what they class as the cogs. Mm-hmm. And, you could bless them. You say, the caretakers in here, they are lovely, lovely people. Mm-hmm. But without them, I would walk in and go, it's terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awful, this thing.
Yeah.
Little story is about how and where you treat them, just like I was saying about that person. It's actually quite funny. I won't bore you with the company or whatever it is, but I did a lot of contracting, and we were working up in Edinburgh, and I got to know the staff of the hotel extremely well, because they had to do their job. Mr. Reed, like a Mr. Reed. And I'm like, can we drop the Mr. Reed now? I've been here a long time, not allowed to. And I'm like, well, that's fine, they don't worry. But they knew me.
Yeah.
We got a massive project completion. There was a big to do, and we got one of the top guys in, and he came down and he went, listen, we'll all go out, we'll all celebrate because we've delivered this project, we'll meet in the bar, So this guy was up there, and obviously everybody was crowding around him because he was the topmost person, and we all sort of landed there. Then we all went up to the bar, and the guy that always served me obviously knew and understood. Big guy, this. Yeah, top guy. I was like, what can I get you? Hey, I'll get the drinks and stuff like that, and started ordering around. And I'm just sat there waiting at the bar, and then without a second's notice, the gentleman the bartender who knew me, started getting all the drinks, and then he reached under the bar. I used to drink a lot of Budweiser back then. Just reached under the bar, popped the Budweiser, gave it to me, and then carried on. The big guy noticed, and he went, how come he got served first? And the bartender just turned around and says, this gentleman very respectful to us for the last 18 months or whatever like that. I said, I know what he wants, but I said, I've not stopped getting you your drink.
Yeah.
And the guy actually came over to me, and he went, the story, and I told him, I said, listen, you don't know me and I don't know you. I'm part of this project.
Yeah.
I treat everybody with the same level of respect, no matter what you are. You are a very
doesn't matter who
high individual.
Exactly.
This person is just the bartender. Yeah. And yet sometimes you just need to give these people respect. And he went, I like that.
Yeah.
And then never saw him again.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But that's the key.
Yeah.
You've got to treat them. And that's just one of the things where you just went, pop.
Yeah.
There you go. Move on.
It's like you said, the caretakers are coming here. Wonderful people do a wonderful job. Keep
fabulous.
The if the people that hoover the plane go on strike, then that plane is not getting off the ground.
Correct.
Then the captain can't fly the plane. Then those passengers are not going to Austria. It's as simple as that. So I'd never look at it as kind of a chain up of it. It's a sideways chain.
Thing. It's beautiful.
And I try never to use, like with pilots and captains and flight instructors, he's top of the tree.
Yeah.
I always say he's at the end of the line.
And that's
because that line is such an important line of very talented people.
The whole thing about the 180 line of dominoes, take out one domino.
That's it. That's it. The domino effect. That's right.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. So how on earth now, in terms of what you're doing, how you're doing, I know you were talking about the 15 children at a time. Is that a limit, a school limit or your limit? Or?
Yeah, the premises that we're based in has been really good. Is still really good.
Yeah.
Has supported us and championed us for a long time now. But with us sort of moving into education and schools and colleges and that kind of thing, when the colleges and schools will ring us and say, we've got 30 kids are doing a level 3, I have to say, the first thing that I have to say, and it's always kind of, I shouldn't be saying this, I should not have to say this. Unfortunately, we can only accommodate 15 of your learners at this present time, the day that you want to come in, because of space restraints.
Right.
Some of your learners will be in the mock airport lounge that we have. They'll be working in security and check-in and the travel agency and that kind of thing. And some of your learners will be with me in the cabin, doing cabin crew roles and responsibilities, and one at a time flying the 737 simulator. Excuse me. In a larger facility that we're looking for, we can say to our regional schools and colleges, when they ring up and say, we want a day with SimFly, we've got 30 kids. Yes, you can bring them. That's the first thing that I want to say. Yes, you can bring them. We'll have some working in the fuselage, we'll have some working in the flight simulator, some working in the rafts and the wet training and all that kind of thing. And then another school rings us and says, can we have 30? Yes, you can come in on the same day as well.
Absolutely.
Because we've got the size, which means our margins, our profit margins are going up. Don't get me wrong, I'm not driven by businesses or businesses. They have to earn money, they have to pay the bills, they have to, and so the wheels turn. But I'm not driven by looking at my next Aston Martin or looking at the next Bentley. That's not me. It never will be me. It never has been me. What I'm looking to do is to make SimFly accessible to the masses on any given day, especially to those young learners who are never going to have that opportunity to go through an airport. Like I said at the very beginning of this interview, they're never going to have that thrill and excitement. We need to open it up and offer it to all the schools. Instead of me having to say, currently at the moment, we can only have 15 of your kids. Well, we can't afford a second day. So I need that facility. I need that big kind of either hangar-sized facility or one of these corporate-sized buildings, I don't know what you would call them, where miniature factories work. As long as it's got the height and the length for us to accommodate 18 metres of this fuselage that's going to be coming up from plane reclaimers, I need that size now. That's our next goal, our next vision, our next move is going to be into a bigger facility. And the facility that we're in now has been brilliant. It's allowed us to create a brand awareness. I don't know if I should chuck in there that I won Entrepreneur of the Year.
Oh, my goodness me.
Year.
Well done, you,
sir. Just thought I'd
absolutely. Well done.
Yeah, do you know what? That was a really crazy experience. We were nominated for 4 awards.
Oh, my goodness.
And we didn't get the first 3. One of which I was surprised at. I don't mean to sound arrogant about that, but one of which I was surprised at, and it was the most unique business in the area. And I thought, surely, we're up there in the top 3, which we were. And then when I was kind of like that, ready to stand up, and the winner is, and it was somebody else, I thought, I don't believe that. Yeah. There's 20 of those businesses in Darlington alone. How do you call that unique? Anyway, so I was putting my coat on with my wife to leave, and I was shaking hands on the table of people, lots of different wonderful business owners.
Absolutely.
Lovely to meet you, lovely to meet you. We're going to get away before the car park rush kind of thing. And it came to the big award, and it was, and now the award for the Entrepreneur of the... I'm saying, see you later, you take care, all the best, mate, thanks very much. Goes to Stuie Ellerton. I went, oh my God, what the heck? Get me coat back up. So I had to go and get this award, and I was really humbled and really surprised, but it was just a reflection, I suppose, of, and I don't mean to give myself a pat on the back here, but I've had so many sleepless nights about, I still have sleepless nights about how am I going to, pay off my debt for buying that simulator? How are we going to get into the black financially? And how are we going to get that bigger facility? And how are we going to move forward from here? How are we going to upsize and upscale and start to bring employees on board? The next generation of aviation trainers, the one thing that the Northeast doesn't have, with the expansion at Teesside Airport, with the big businesses like Willis and Airborne, it's lovely to see. It's amazing to see that. But you know the one thing that they haven't got at Teesside is an aviation training facility for our.
Hang on a minute. I've got Ben on the speed dial.
Ben's been down. Ben loved it.
I bet he
Ben
did.
was kind of a champion of what we did and what we do. And I'm sure moving forward we'll come across Ben again in future days.
Absolutely.
But I need someone to kind of say, do you know what, Stu? I can see. It just so happens I've got 10 million in the bank. I can see where you're wanting to take this.
Yeah.
Here's a few quid. Let's set it up and let's run with it and let's roll with it. Did you know that there are 600 employees for TUI alone in Newcastle?
Oh, my goodness me.
Each and every one of them has to go to Gatwick to train every single year on an annual basis to upscale and to kind of keep their licenses current, because there is no training facility in the
Northeast. You could do that.
Exactly.
You could do that.
I've worked out that I can save TUI alone next year 1.7 million, which is a fraction of what TUI turn over, in logistical costs alone. That is getting their staff on the train, out to Gatwick and in hotels to do part of their training to keep their licenses current. That's just for the Newcastle base alone.
Wow.
Excuse me, if we had this facility up here.
Yeah. Well, luckily, the head of TUI listens to this podcast.
Well, there we are.
He's bound to get
absolutely.
that phone call.
Mr. TUI, we need his facility. So come on, get behind us, champion us. Yeah, that's what we need.
Absolutely.
But if we build it,
they will come. They will come. Let's twist it a little bit in terms of what you've given us there is a fascinating overview in terms of how you do that. But obviously, it's called Tech a Break. What about the technology? How is that integral into part of what SimFly does?
We couldn't operate without it, especially with a flight simulator. The flight simulator is powered by 3, you'll know better than I on this, 3 fantastic computers that talk to each other, that synergize to each other. We have 3 screens. We have sort of the mother screen in front of us. And then when we turn right or turn left, and that runway goes off to the left-hand side like that, it comes onto the next screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the mother computer is talking to that computer, which is saying, move all that scenery over there. And it's a seamless join. Yeah. It's not stuttery or anything like this. So I'm supposing it's to do with the processes and things like that. I haven't got a clue.
Listen, don't get too technical.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. Yeah, I did confuse you there.
Absolutely, man.
So, yeah, it's three enormous computers. I always remember the guy who built the simulator. I said, so... in terms of size, how big are these computers? He said, well, put it this way, you could power governments from these computers that you've got running the system. Now and then they need fixing.
Absolutely, all IT does.
As all IT does, yeah. And now and then we have to ring a client and say, I do apologise, going back to that conversation we had earlier, do apologise. We've had a little bit of a glitch in the system.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fixed on Thursday next week, kind of thing. So I have to kind of go tech and unoperational until our IT man who's based in Barnsley is free to log on to my computers. And when he does that, he'll just say to me, send me a picture of the code that I can log on to. So I go click, off it goes to him. Yeah. And then I see the mouse moving. Absolutely. He's operating that in Barnsley, all that kind of stuff. And then he goes into the very brains and the depths of the computer and I'll click a button and then bing, everything comes up.
He's changed a 0 to a 1.
0 to a 1. It's like the Matrix. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey,
and then everything comes alive again.
Yeah.
And computers but it doesn't matter if you're working on my kind of level for regional and local users, or whether you're looking at the Jet 2 simulators down in Leeds and Heathrow and all, and Virgin Atlantic. These are the mega simulators that are on big hydraulic rams. They go tech. They go
of course.
wrong. Sometimes a pilot will get on a train and go down to Gatwick and they'll get there and they'll say, simulator's gone tech today, we have to get the engineers in. So it's a fact of life that tech does go wrong sometimes, and we have to get people in, the correct people in to fix it, which is probably where I need to speak to you on that level.
You probably do. And can I say thank you, because tech does go wrong and that keeps me in a job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Next time it does, I'm going to give you a ring.
No,
but other than that, when it's working smoothly, which touch wood, 90% of the time it does run smoothly.
Absolutely.
We had clients in last night. I was working with clients doing things called circuits, which is taking off, flying around and landing the aircraft, taking off again, flying around, landing the aircraft. Because essentially, amongst the plethora of other things that pilots do, they have to take off and they have to land the aircraft.
Pretty important.
Absolutely, yeah. And everything runs smoothly, and it was great. And the good thing about the tech that we've got, the good thing about the computer programs that we've got, they might come to us and say, can we fly in the rain? Yes. Can we have thunder and lightning? Yes. Can we do a night flight? Yes. Can we do a real-time flight to Malaga? Yes. You need to pay a bit more than that because it's going to take us 3 hours, 20 minutes. Yeah. There are very few scenarios that we can't replicate, kind of thing, or very few scenery kind of scenarios that we can't do. We do. It's a global scenery as well. So we do, one of the flights that we do is a ladies' night.
Oh, very nice.
And we do it in Manhattan. We do it up and down New York. So we go around the Statue of Liberty, up Manhattan.
Beautiful.
While the ladies are kind of drinking Prosecco and having strawberries and cream, and we get the cabin crew, people to come on board and serve it. So we treat it like a real flight. And one of the things that we do with the schools and colleges, when we learn about a particular scenario, we talked earlier about the drunk passenger.
Yep.
How do we deal with the drunk passenger? So what we do is we'll do the learning. This is what the passenger's going to do. This is how you're going to deal with that scenario. Right, let's go into the simulator room. So we take off and we're flying around for an hour. We might be on our way down to Charles de Gaulle, and all of a sudden the passenger kicks off. We don't know when that passenger is going to kick off, or why they're going to, or how they're going to kick off. But at that point, it's not a learning environment; it's a realistic environment.
Correct.
How are we going to deal with this? Does the cabin crew have to communicate with the flight crew? Is it got to that extreme where there are threats and we have to make a diversion? So the thing at SimFly, we can marry up lots and lots of different scenarios and put them into the simulator room with our cabin and our cabin crew trainers and that kind of thing, and make it a very realistic flight. We do aviation first aid, so we can be halfway across the Atlantic and say, hang on a minute, someone's having a heart attack, God forbid.
Goodness, yeah.
What we're going to do, we have to turn back, we have to head back to London Heathrow. That's going to take us an hour and a half. So you can see why cabin crew are highly, highly trained in the art of medicine and first aid and CPR and that kind of thing. They are gone are the days of the stereotypical cabin crew just pushing a trolley up the aisles. No. Would you like a drink, sir?
Absolutely.
These guys are the height of professionalism when it comes to the muck hitting the fan.
I can agree with that. And in terms of what you're thinking about there, it's having that, what you were describing, Stu, it's having that, I would class as agile environment.
Yeah.
And again, not that it was on a plane, but it was on a train.
Yeah.
I was very subject to somebody who was bit drunk.
Yeah.
They had kicked off,
Yeah.
and the crew at the time were trying to handle it, trying to calm him down, but added to that situation was a mother with a young child.
Yeah.
The young child was getting very agitated,
Yeah.
suffered from asthma, and therefore that. And again, bless
One
the
thing led to
training
another, yeah.
crew. They're not only trying to deal with this, going, oh my God, this is going to be, oh my God, we've now got this.
Yeah.
What you're trying to do is give those people that experience. You cannot say, read that book, Stuie.
That's right.
That'll tell you exactly what
Yeah.
to do. You need to put that person into that situation
That's
and
right.
go, how would you handle it?
Yeah. Now, amplify that by 1,000 when, if at any point the crew on the train could have said, right, you're off at the next stop.
Yeah.
That's it. So the next stop might be 20 minutes away, kind
Yeah.
of thing. The police come on board, remove that passenger,
Yeah.
fine, brilliant. At 38,000 feet, they do not have that option.
Do they not? Oh, right.
And we'd love to have that option. 38,000
stop
feet,
off.
that's not going to happen. And our onward journey is just another further 6 hours.
Yes.
So that scenario is amplified and kind of augmented and potentially very volatile.
Definitely.
38,000 feet, we've still got 4, 5, 6 hours to fly.
Yeah.
If it's a long haul flight, how are we going to contain this in essentially a cigar tube at a pressurized cigar tube at 38,000 feet?
Yeah.
And, dissolve the situation, calm the situation down. And sometimes when it comes to it, the cabin crew have a thing called an emergency restraint kit.
Aha.
And a passenger can be restrained. And essentially, it's, the tie wraps that you put around wheel trims and you go, kind of, it's a dirty, great big one thing.
my
So
Lord.
it goes round the waist and it goes, zip, sit down. And
Right.
you're not going anywhere kind of thing. So they can kick off all they like when they're restrained. We'll remove passengers from around
Well,
them
of
to make
course.
it. But at 38,000 feet with another 6 hours to go, that scenario that you describe is a perfect analogy of how volatile it can become in
Gosh,
the air.
yes. Yeah.
With another 6 hours to go.
With another 6 hours to go.
Yeah.
Do you find, though, in terms of when you are training the kids, because again, I'm not giving kids a bad name, I really am, because, there's the 1%.
Yeah.
It's like anything.
Absolutely.
It's
It's
the
like
1%.
anything. It is.
Do you find, though, that when you explain and give do you just see their faces going, oh my God, how on earth am I going to deal with that? Oh, step back, I'm scared. But that's what it's all about, isn't it?
It is.
It's like, come on.
1,000%. And it's bringing, sometimes it's about calming some of those learners down.
Yes.
Sometimes it's about bringing the best out and the talent and augmenting that skill set.
Yes.
Sometimes it's letting the learner know that they already have that skill set. They're just afraid to let it out.
Correct.
Or they're unsure of how to let it out. They're unsure of how should I deal with this situation. So, we get a right old multitude of young learners that come from different personalities. And going back to the colours, you can see those learners that come in that are quite like this, We can see those kids that come in, let me at it, let me have a go, there's your red, there's your decision makers,
Yeah.
And then you get the data collectors like the blue colour people. Who, well, why does that happen? How does that happen? Should that not be doing that? So they're the blue people that want all of the data, want all of the information before they make an informed decision.
Yeah.
So pilots and cabin crew have so many of these different coloured personalities to enable them to do their job to the highest level of professionalism.
Yeah.
And it's about, at interview stage, it's about hiring the right coloured personalities. So pilots need to be decision makers.
Yes.
They're data collectors.
Yeah.
At times they are the red kind of fiery, no, I'm going to do this because this is how it's... So, and sometimes they have to take a little bit, excuse the pun, a back seat and say, well, let's just let it happen and see how it kind of pans out kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's a different range of personality skill sets with all of our learners that come through our doors. Sometimes it's just letting them know who they actually are as people and say, well, did you actually know that you are quite a good decision maker here? And those people that fly the plane and go, oh, I can't do this, I can't just do it. Okay, well, maybe piloting is not for you because, when those kids that sit in the flight sim and go, hang on a minute, we're just going too far off to the right-hand side, I need to go to the left-hand side. They are the decision makers, those assertive people that have potentially got the skill sets buried within them somewhere that they should be exploring pilot scholarships because they've got that natural ability to make decisions.
I think it's great what you're doing. And again, I think from our point of view, we are both of that, I keep saying, age. Do you not find, before I come on to another analogy story, do you not find that as a business owner, you change colour? I've got to be a red, I've got to be a blue, I've got to be a yellow, I've got to be a white.
1,000%, yeah, 1,000% we have to. And it's dealing with all of those different situations. Sometimes when we set learners off on a task, And we can see that role play is developing into something quite spectacular. I just have to sit back and let it happen.
Yeah.
To the point that it's going to end up in fisticuffs.
Yeah, but...
Then we'll step in. But it's great to see that the learners, they walk in as... I'll give you an example. We had two young ladies walk in only a few weeks ago. And they were sat on our chairs, and they had the phones out like this. And they were kind of, as kids do.
As we all do.
But as the kids do. This is the new form of communication. Not opening your mouths and talking to people. It's all about this, you know. So Gemma and I were looking at these two girls, and I thought, I wonder who they're texting. I wonder, are they texting family, or are they texting, friends?
Each other.
They were texting each other.
Oh, my
They were sat next to each other, and they were saying, this is good, in it. Because we actually, they showed us the text. I said, well, who are you texting? Oh, each other. It's like, well, do you not fancy like having a word with each other?
Yeah.
No. And they were kind of very introvert, uncommunicable young ladies that came in. And we worked on their communication skills during the course of the day. And by the end of the day, we couldn't get them to shut up.
Oh,
it was
that's fabulous.
Talk. And the teacher came and said, I've never seen those kids talk as much as they have at the end of this day. So the one thing that they took away from themselves from the day with SimFly was not how to fly a plane, was not how to be cabin crew. Aviation was never on their radar, excuse the pun, or on the agenda for them to a career skill set to get into. But they became communicators. They started talking to each other using the English language.
My goodness,
and the teacher said,
who'd have thought?
In the classroom, they're just complete introverts and don't talk, don't communicate, don't say anything. They wouldn't say boo to a goose. But now they're going blah, blah, because they've learned that skill set of, hang on a minute, let's put the phones down and let's have a word with each other. Let's physically communicate and talk and get into each other's mindset. What are you thinking at this point? And they came in like this, texting each other, and they went out as people who chat.
Yeah, but that is typical, unfortunately, of this world. We live in a tech world. We live in a bubble. Yeah. And people are so, nowadays, frightened to step out of that bubble because what if I get the mick taken out of me? What if I fail? What if I do this? All of the kids a couple of weeks ago when I was chatting to them, what do you want to be? I want to be an influencer.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But sadly, you see the influencers making absolute tons of money for doing little things on TikTok and whatever else.
That's right.
But that, again, I'm not being old. That's just a generational thing.
Yeah.
But the whole idea about what you're saying there, the communication, the understanding, and the story that I was going to tell was that when I worked at a previous company before Resilient, we had to make some difficult decisions, or a gentleman did, and he asked us all. And he went, what do you think that we should do? And he basically gives an option. I chose one option. Probably the majority of the people didn't make a decision because one of the options was nothing. So do you want to do A, B, or do nothing? I chose A, say for example, and these other kids chose a couple of other ones. Other people chose a couple of other ones, and some do nothing. When the boss then said, right, we're going to do this option, this is the correct option, and we went down that option, a lot of the other people were going, that's the wrong option. It's wrong, completely wrong. And he went, okay, well, let's fair in it, let's determine it. It turned out it was the wrong decision, okay? We then came back a couple of weeks later, and sadly, Stuie, a lot of the people go, told you so, told you so, told you so. And you look back and you went, but you also, you chose no decision.
Yeah.
What the guy stood up and he went, I made the decision, I made the wrong decision, but now I know why I made the wrong decision, and that will lean to the future. I'll understand. Yeah. You lot, you've not learned anything.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned. And going back to my point about the question, are you sometimes red, sometimes? I sit as the owner of the business with my wife, and I see some things with my other kids, and I'll say this honestly with Dan and Eddie, and they're off doing something, and I'm going to go, that's wrong. I don't say anything because if I constantly say, Stuie, that's going to be wrong, you will never learn
anything.
I let them fail, and then when they come and say, why did it fail? I went, I knew it was going to fail.
Yeah.
And then I teach them why it failed, and that is absolutely golden to them because they go, now I understand. If I'd have done that then, I went, and that's why I've let it. The downside is, Stuie, I've wasted, let's say, a day's worth of work. But for that day's worth, if I'd have stopped in 10 minutes, they could have done the job a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But actually, by investing in the people
That is a
and making them
great
learn,
analogy.
I actually go, do you know what? I've won there.
And then moving forward, the productivity of the business is, and without doubt, you're going to come across that situation again and again and again. But
Absolutely.
now the next time you know how to, those people know how to deal with it in a productive way. We've been here before. Hang on. Right, okay. That's not going to happen. Listen to us, guys. Listen to us.
Yes.
Please listen to us because we've been here before.
Yeah.
This is.
But the people, what I was getting at is the kids, the students that you are learning. I hate to use the cliche, but that is a fantastic life lesson.
Yeah.
It's like, look, what you've done today, you've learned either what not to do or what to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, as a business owner, you get the same things that I get going, I need to make a decision. Mm-hmm. I need to look back at my life and look, what did experience tell me? I still might not know, okay, I'm going down this route. Mm-hmm. You go down that route, and I always say to everybody when they're resilient, and I'd say it to anybody, I'd say it to you, there is no wrong decision. Because that decision was wrong, but now I know why it was wrong. Right? Okay, I'll never do that again. And that's the key.
Yeah.
Again, what you're teaching to these students, I honestly, genuinely believe that's invaluable.
Absolutely.
It's got to be for this world.
Totally agreed. Yeah, absolutely. It's lessons learned, values learned, productivity moving forward.
No,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, obviously, we're looking at the time, wrapping up.
Yeah.
What's the future for SimFly? You know, you've obviously, God bless, you've been very kind to show me your vision in a picture.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. But is that a year out? Is that 5 years out? If Mr. Tui is listening, by the way,
absolutely.
We need you to get this. But that is absolutely. But is that your goal? Is that your lifelong ambition? And then is it to pass on to your son, or is he just going to go off and be a pilot?
Well, he's at aviation college at the moment doing his degrees. He's gone down the line of Howard Joe's got. He's a very clever thinker. Is Howard Joe? He's a deep thinker. Yes, absolutely, 1,000%. Do you know what? Howard Joe struggled all the way through school with his maths in particular.
Wow.
We had extra maths on a night time, extra maths on a weekend.
Me, mate.
He scraped his grade 4, which is what he needed to get into aviation college to do engineering, aircraft maintenance.
Wow.
And then the maths that he's bringing home now is...
It's even blowing you away.
Oh, I'm looking at it going, no, sorry, that's just the matrix. That's... And he said, well, yeah, but this, because of that, that does that. Well, can you not see the answer there, Dan? I said, no. Can't see the answer at all there, Joe. Yeah. And he gets it. But you know why? Because it's maths, which is something related to what he wants to do for the rest of his life. So
that's the key.
When the school was saying X plus Y equals 3Z, our Joe would say, well, why?
Yeah.
Well, because we're trying to find X. What for?
Yeah.
But now at college they're saying X is the rotational speed of the front fan, Y is the thrust that's coming out I get it now. The light bulb has come on with Joe. So he's a very shrewd thinker. What he wants to do, he wants to learn every nut and bolt and washer of an aircraft, and then go with that degree of aircraft knowledge, essentially, and how to fix an aircraft and troubleshoot an aircraft. He wants to go for flight crew.
Nice.
And at that point, they'll be saying, hang on a minute, you know everything there is to know about the principles of flight, the theory of flight, the engines, airframes, systems, avionics, hydro. Walk this way.
Yeah, exactly.
Come this way. You are the type of person that we need, kind of thing. So the goal for SimFly on the back of that is expansion.
Good.
Expansion soon. That's what we need. We need to make it inclusive for all of our young and middle-aged and older learners. We want it accessible to everybody. We want everybody to be able to come and access a learning environment, looking at maybe their own way of life, their own job roles and responsibilities, but through the lens of aviation.
Yeah.
And obviously it's for those people as well who are thinking about aviation as a career.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to be responsible for training them as cabin crew, for airport staff, for security, obviously the pilots, because we're blessed with that, the simulator as well. And synergizing all of those departments together, I truly think that we can, I mean, this is a bit far-fetched, but why not think big?
Oh, yeah.
I truly think that we can build a world-beating centre of aviation training excellence right here in the northeast of England, which is the one thing that it doesn't have. And hopefully people tell me that they see my passion when I talk and I'm trying to get things across. I'm so frustrated with, this is unique. This is something that we haven't got. This is something that the region hasn't got. The north of England hasn't got. It hasn't got that synergistic environment of training zones that we've brought together, that we can put out there to young aviation hopefuls, that those young kids dreaming of a career in aviation. And now has never, ever been a better time to get into aviation because we're in that post-COVID time, and the aviation industry right across the sector is going, come this way, come this way. It's employing and recruiting on a never-seen-before level.
Yeah.
And because we have nothing like SimFly in the northeast of England, it's an ideal opportunity to say to those people with the money and Ben and all those people, come on, get behind this. We need to create this facility because there's so many young individuals out there that are destined for the aviation sector as pilots, as cabin crew, as engineers. My son is a perfect example. Struggled through school and is achieving. With his level 3, he got top of the class. He came out with a distinction star. And that was a kid that really, really struggled with his maths. And it's just... the light bulb has come on and he's got it. He understands it. So if we can build this facility for those people like my son Joe and like all of those tens of thousands of other young learners that look at airplanes like I did when I was 5-year-old and go, that wants to be me one day. And we can say, yes, we damn well trained them in the northeast of England and sent them on their way to a career, their dream career.
You need those aspirations. And I mean, I've been in business now, say 20 years. I know Darlington, I'm born and bred in the northeast, but if you look at Darlington over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, the investment that we've had is phenomenal. Yeah. Why not have this aspiration that you've got, that SimFly will be the world-class place? You want people, I want people about resilient, you want people about SimFly. Over in America to go, we need to send you to the northeast because that is the place to go, and it's the world domineering of it. Why not have that aspiration?
And we've got an airport 3 miles down the road that we can position ourselves at. Why not? Come on, Ben. Come on, Tui, get behind this. If we build this, they will come.
But he said that about the government. Look at the Darlington business about the government. So the London people are now coming up because Darlington is perfectly placed.
Yeah.
Why not do the same thing with aviation?
And I mentioned 600 TUI employees at Newcastle alone. We've also got Jet2, we've also got British Airways, we've also got EasyJet, we've also got Ryanair. Those people have to go, they live in Newcastle, but they have to jump on a train to go down to Heathrow or Gatwick to do elements of their training on an annual basis because there is nothing in the northeast of England. I have proven that the blueprint works.
Yeah.
I have proven that blueprint. I've proven the policy of it. I've proven that kids can come through, that can learn, that can embrace, and that can go forward into aviation as a career. And the kids that we have, predominantly school kids, end up on a level 3 at either Darlington College or some of the Middlesbrough and Stockton colleges, and they go off to the airlines. I've proven that it works. What we need now is the big facility. We need the slides.
Yes.
We need the rafts. Plane reclaimers have said, we're going to give you an Airbus A320 Fusion.
It's like mind-blowing.
What more reason do we need to build a facility like this on a unique level and then recruit from the airlines to say, don't go south.
No.
You don't need to go to Gatwick to do your training. If you, what is it? You want door training on a Dreamliner?
Yeah.
It just so happens we've got a Dreamliner door.
Yeah.
It just so happens, what, you want to be a pilot? It just so happens we've got a 737 simulator. Or you want to be a cabin crew? We've got a fuselage supplied to us by plane reclaimers, or you need to do your slide training, we've got them. Come to us.
Absolutely.
And if it's here in the northeast of England, it's going to be a winner. If we build it, they will come.
No, honestly.
And that's what keeps me, when I wake up on a morning and I go, oh my gosh, what have I done? And then I say to myself at the end of that mental conversation, if I build it, they will come.
No, definitely, Stuart, absolutely. I cannot thank you enough for your passion, your enthusiasm. This has been a stunning podcast.
Thank you.
I really hope everybody is out there, and I hope everybody understands the passion you've got. So listen, mate,
thank you.
Fantastic.
And thank you for having me.
For everybody out there that wants to get in contact with you, how do they do that?
So, contact was, our email address is info@simfly.co.uk.
Yeah.
I do not mind giving my mobile number out there. It's 07973 736 964, and our website is www.simfly.co.uk.
Well, fantastic. So we always end up with, what are you doing for the weekend to switch off?
Well, being a musician, I've also got a gig this weekend.
Oh, very nice. Where at?
Wetherby. I'm playing in a nice little country manor hotel down in Wetherby.
Beautiful.
And then taking Sunday off just to kind of forget the fact that I owe tens of thousands of pounds.
Honestly,
On
don't even
SimFly.
think about
Don't even think about that.
Don't think about that. Mr. Tui, now that you've given out, and Ben will be literally, honestly, I can see your phone ringing. That's them now.
Yeah, that's Ben. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's Ben now.
Come on, get your hand in your pocket, Ben.
Exactly. So we're, funnily enough, and you couldn't have scripted this, we're off to a company, IAS Medical.
Oh, yes, know them well.
You must know them well.
Well, I know the chief flight instructor, Chris. Yeah, good friend of mine.
Good friend. He's a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
We had a long conversation with Peter Roberts, who owns the company, and we're doing some massive upgrades. I took you upstairs to Resilient. Those are the things that we're going to do. Yeah. And when I first met at AS Medical and obviously looked after the whole IT, I'm like you, Stuart. I'm not just going, okay, fine, I'll fix your computers. I'm going, why? How? What? What's this? What's
absolutely.
that? And you must have been there and you've seen the massive screens tracking.
Yeah.
And interestingly, when you were talking about the line thing, you look at what IS Medical do when they're trying to get a patient who's unfortunately had an accident or done whatever, and they're flying them to a certain point, but organising the ambulance to land at the same place. Yeah. Oh my goodness!
The synergies involved in that is just insane. And again, a number of roles behind that to look after one person who's not very well. That is just insanely good.
What amazes me, Stuart, is we were there on one particular day doing some big project stuff, and as you do, and because of the person that I am, what's happening, and they were telling me about this particular person. Need to land. We're organising the ambulance crew. We need to organise that. He's having a heart bypass, I think it was. Forgive me if that was wrong. We need to organise for the heart to be flown in. And I was just incredible. Like, I don't understand how all of this is coming together. But I said, God bless you. And I went away and did my job. And then I came back and he went, just out of interest, he went, the plane's delayed by 30 minutes. These are the things I've now got to do. And honestly, Stu, my mind just went, boom. Yeah. I've got to delay get to do that, but he can't be delayed because he's doing that. So what we need to do is we need to get him to meet another ambulance to take the heart, to then transfer... Mind blowing.
Bang, bang, bang.
Bang. Oh,
there's the domino effect. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness me.
Yeah.
So we're in there tomorrow doing a massive upgrade for Peter and the team. And then Sunday, you're absolutely right, I'm switching off. I've had a hell of a week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've deserved a day off.
I will be done.
Yeah.
Stewie, absolute pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much. I hope everybody understands the passion and feels what I felt.
Thank you.
Goosebumps because of the real.
That means a lot. And that's where I am behind this business. It's not driven by money. It's not driven by a will to succeed and big houses and that kind of thing. It's driven by there are so many people within our region that have a golden opportunity.
Absolutely.
To come and experience what we've got. And if we build a bigger facility and they come through and they're trained by us, we'll send them on their way.
No, absolutely.
And that's every reason to build this.
It is every reason to build it. So thank you so much again, Stuart. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope everybody else has a great weekend. See you later. Thank you. Now. Bye-bye.